time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. Good afternoon, everybody. We're here in Shanghai. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles per hour with DRS assistance down the back straight, before the cars break into the tight hairpin at turn 14.
Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here, Black Flag Racing TV, and we are here finally. It's Formula 1 2023. It's the smoking Pirellis Racing Club Season 9, and it's the first outing here on this brand new and improved F1 2023. And I just want to say at this stage, it is a massive improvement over F1 2022. They've actually taken some time to make a game that is viable. Still don't agree with them releasing a new one every year. Still think it should be done on updates. But I've got to say it's phenomenal. And 2022 was absolute dog shit in comparison. But this is awesome. So, new season, new drivers. We'll have a little look, you see who we've got in a minute. Also, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel. 500 subs we hit today. Absolutely phenomenal achievement for everybody that gets involved. It's not just you that get involved, but you stay involved as well, which is awesome. So we're here at China, Shanghai circuit. We've seen the intro video. That's your full-time drivers. We've got short qualifying, 18 minutes of qualifying, followed by 28 laps of wheel-to-wheel, balls-out racing here at the Shanghai circuit. I'm trying my daughter to get me to open something for her, even though she knows I'm broadcasting. So, drivers, who we got out there today? In the Aston Martin, we've got, there, Wisburn, look, in the Aston Martin, Nat Packers for Williams, Cameron Poulter in the Alpine, Fake Scouser out in the Aston Martin, Tom Go Prof, he's in the McLaren. Thank you very much, Rose, and yes, I don't know about a legend, Nat, but I'll take it. Yeah, I'm back, baby, I'm back, Rose, you better still be quick. Pink Eye is in the Red Bull, or Sergio Pink Eye, as he's otherwise known. Comzar in the Haas. I don't know if I get that excited about it, mate. Rose in Mercedes AMG Petronas. Of course, he thinks he's Lewis Hamilton, which is why he drives that. It's Wazar is in the Alpine. Cast in the AlphaTauri. Curry is racing for Williams. Pontine in the Alfa Romeo. Why has it got kick? I suppose this just what's got kick, aren't they? Idiot. Andre in the AlphaTauri. Donny Jimmy is in the Alfa Romeo. Meixer in the Ferrari. Moikuli in the Haas. Sam Beach is in the McLaren. And that is your runners and riders this evening. Bit disappointing that we've got that many. We've got a full roster of full-time drivers. And they didn't all show up for race number 1. Poor effort from you, big tosspots. I will rip you a new one summarily when I get the opportunity to do so. Anyway, moving swiftly on because the countdown begins for qualifying. Interesting to see. There's a few drivers out there. Obviously, I know who's quick. I know who is capable of putting in a decent lap or two. There are some new drivers out there, though, and those are the ones that we want to have a look at. We'll probably do an on board with a driver we know is not going to crash during qualifying, but we'll see. But without further ado, I think it's time to move on to some actual racing. Do you like the new little thingy at the bottom? You'll notice this change to the sponsors a little bit. Still Club Leaf, obviously our principal sponsor, but we're now in partnership with Team Hard, the British Tour Car Championship team, as a broadcast partner, and we do Team Hard approved championships and the like, the shizzle. Check us out on the Black Flag official channels, Instagram and YouTube, and we're on YouTube already, idiot. Instagram, Facebook. We've even got a TikTok. I hate TikTok, but our social media manager, it sounds a bit poncy when I say that, he's just a guy that races with us that's good at doing social media. Has got a TikTok going. I think we've got a Twitter as well. In fact, I've got a Twitter sorted out, but I just haven't posted anything on it. And then, of course, we've got our Discord as well to get involved. But click like, click share, click subscribe. Show the world how much you love a bit of Formula One racing here on a Thursday evening with Smoking Pirellis. So, who's going to be first to jump out? And the interface is so much better now, isn't it? So much cleaner than it was previously. What we're going to want is just the fastest lap. I don't think we need any other detail. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be out on the soft compound tyre. You'd be an idiot not to in this particular event. Don't think there's going to be any rain. I'm sure they would tell me if there was. Who's that first out? That looks like we've got a Mercedes-Benz on the way out. So that might well be Rose, maybe not. Can't see who's out on track yet. So Cameron Poulter's out. Let's go on board with Cameron. So here we go. Let's get rid of all the shenanigans on the screen. That's not the correct way to do that. We've got all the usual bits and pieces you would expect. If anyone crashes, we've got...
You can't park that there, mate.
It would help if I actually turned that on. Hang on. Hold the line caller.
You can't park that there, mate.
It's better, isn't it? So, this is Cameron Poulter in the Alpine. He's going to give us a hot lap in a minute. But you can see that even the graphics have improved somewhat from 2022. They just feel so much cleaner. Loving the lines on it. Obviously, these cars are much prettier cars than the 2022 or 2021 season cars. Are much better looking cars, but they are massive. Anyone that's seen these cars, it's unbelievable how big they are. They're like they're bigger than a transit van when you think about it from that perspective. So, start to warm up your tyres as you do your outlap. You're heading down here. You haven't got much longer before you're going to get on the power and start your hot lap. This is where you set yourself up, because this is the end of the lap. You get down to that 50-metre ball, just slam on the anchors, get it turned in, then on that power, head down through the DRS zone, open up that rear flap, heading down towards turn one. Turn one really tricky, because you're going fast and come out slow. You're kind of braking, changing down through the gears on your way through the corner until you're finally down into third gear, and then just flip back to the left-hand side, all the way back on yourself. Be brave, but not too brave with that loud pedal. Get on the power. Sweep round to the right-hand side here. Full pelt. Then on the anchors again, down into third gear. Another big 180 switchback almost before you head under the Qatar side, sticking to that right-hand side as you sweep round to the left. Full power. Seventh gear. Flicking up. Around down to fifth gear, round to your right, around to your left as well, dropping down again another gear. This is more about gear control and throttle control than it is about braking this track. There's a lot more of throttle and gear plays than there is flat out braking zones. There are some corners you obviously have to brake for, but a lot of this you can do with just a clever use of a lift and a change in gear. Another long straight here, you stick to this left hand side. Flat out, up into 8th gear you go. Into the DRS zone, rear wing opens, give you that extra little bit of drag as you head, or drag reduction, as I say, as you head down to the final part of the racetrack. Massive 180 hairpin that takes you down to the pit entrance, which is straight ahead. You're slowing down a lot sooner if you're going in there. Flick it around the corner, and up you go towards the start-finish line. And there is your lap. And Cameron Poulter with the fastest lap thus far, which is not a bad start to the proceedings. But as he puts in the 132.4, immediately Whitburn in the Aston Martin responds. His teammate Also in an Aston Martin, because he's his teammate, that's how it works. Fake Scouser, he responds too. It's on 32-2, 32-2. But Samuel Beach in the McLaren on pole with a 1:32.1. That's a really quick time. Orny Jimmy, 1:31.8. First driver to go sub 32. And that's followed immediately by Comsar in the Haas. Their times are tumbling. Every single driver coming through, and the times are just improving all the time. Potine in the Alfa Romeo with a 1:32.9. Currently sitting in 8th. But it's Comsar and Orny Jimmy. They're on the front row right now. They are the targets to beat. They're the ones that have gone sub 32. They're the ones that you want to be challenging at this stage. Samuel Beach just outside that front row is on row 2 with Makesir, Fake Scouser, Wisburn. Nothing to separate those two drivers. Just 0.03 of a second, or well, not even that, between the two Aston Martin drivers. Now, if you've got two drivers on the same team putting in similar performances like that, they're always going to be a worry for the rest of the teams in terms of the Constructors' Championship, because you know that if one is performing, the other one also can be performing and pick up some big points. Down in 11th and 12th, that's Cast and Andre. They are both in the Alpha Tauri, a 38.9 and a 54.5. I'm sure Andre's got much better timing in than that. Rose on a hot lap. We know this guy is going to be there or thereabouts in terms of pole. He's in the Mercedes-Benz. He's looking to put himself on that front row. As always trying to challenge for the front row here. And we can see him heading down. I'll tell you what's missing. Do you know what's missing? Anybody? The track map. There we go. And he's already purple through Sector 1. Comsar still sitting on pole. The two McLarens, Tomgo Prof and Samuel Beach. We can see him there. All the way up there. Tomgo Prof and Samuel Beach in 3rd and 4th position. So they're locking out the second row as it stands. Orny Jimmy for Alfa Romeo. Comsar for the Haas. Still on the front row. There is Rose in the Mercedes-Benz Mercedes-Benz Ineos AMG team car. Is he going to put this car on pole? I don't know if he was purple through Sector 2, we missed that, but he was certainly purple through Sector 1 as he heads down one big braking zone left before we see him swing round to the left and cross that start-finish line, and then we find out what kind of pace he's chucking in today. There is a caution in Sector 2. Someone's gone sideways, and through he goes, and bang! On pole, half a second faster than anybody else, Rose. And he hasn't lost any pace over the last few months. And certainly demonstrating he still knows what he's doing. So Rose on pole with a 31.0. Is there a sub 131 on this track in this qualifying today at China? I certainly hope so, because the pace is looking pretty shit hot at the moment. Just Natty Nat Packers waiting for her fastest lap. I'm not messing around with stupid pronouns. She hasn't given me a pronoun, so she's a she. There we go. Nat Packers in 17. I should be careful, like slagging off pronouns already, because I will get the fuck cancelled. But unless you tell me you're going to be what you look like. Anyway, moving swiftly on before an activist comes to my house and throws some paint at me. So it's Rose from Comsar. They're on the front row. Orny Jimmy dropping down to row 2, which pushes Samuel Beach down to row 3. Still 4 and 5 for the McLaren boys. Makesir in the Fezzer is in 6th with the Red Bull of Pink Eye on 7th position. He's joined by Fake Scouser, who's got a Wisburn teammate just behind on row 5. Cameron Poulter, who was the first out lap, almost a second and a half slower than the pole lap, but it looks like he's coming out for another crack at this. Currently rounding out the top 10 though. Moy Cully out on the outlap in the Haas. He's joined by Curry on row 6, row 7, Pontine, and it's Wazza. Andre and Cast on row, whatever that one is, 8. And Nat Packer's still to set a time. Where is she going to slot in after her hot lap? Here she goes. Lap begins. Is this the hottest of hot laps? Is this good enough to beat Rose? We'll see. Will it be purple through sector 1? Turn 1. Always complicated turn 1. And I tell you what, turn 1 here at the start of a race can be absolute carnage. Particularly if you are a little bit late with the brakes in any part of the corner. And she's heading down now. This is the timing line. Is it purple? No, it's not. It's not even green. So it doesn't look like that lap is going to count for anything. There is a caution in sector 1. Someone's gone sideways. Or have they? Who knows? Doesn't look like it on the track map, but you never know, do you? You never know. So round to complete sector 2. Is this going to be green or purple? Or well, maybe there was a track limits issue at some stage, so it doesn't count. Well, that's purple. So that's most definitely purple. So certainly purple in sector 2. Is this a challenge then for somewhere near the front of the grid? Sweeping round towards the second DRS or the first. Is it the first or the second? Technically it's the second DRS zone, but the first DRS zone actually starts on this lap. It's complicated. I'll call it the second DRS zone because you're doing DRS at the beginning of the lap. Big 180 hairpin. Back on that power again. And then one more little flick to the left. Boom. Into the DRS zone. Flaps open. Flicking and flaps. Boom shanka. Nat Packers is good for 4th. That's row 2. That's not bad start, is it? It's good to see a Williams up there. We see some McLarens up there. Not going to see that this season because the cars are actually dog shit. In real life, of course. So Rose still the top of the tree with a 31-0. Wisman has plonked himself right there on row 1 alongside Rose. Comzar relegated down, win that Packers onto row 2. Oni Jimmy is with Makes on row 3. Tom Go Prof and Samuel Beach, the 2 McLaren drivers, now separated by Mui Kuli for Haas. Pink Eye rounds out the top 10. That pushes Ponting down to 11th. Fake Scouser, that's some drop now as the time started tumbling down to 12. Cameron Poulter drops down to, unlucky for some, number 13. Curry is in 14th place. Wazar for Alpine is 15th. Andre 16th. And Cast with 38.9 currently sitting in 17th position. If I wince during this broadcast, which is bloody likely, I've got a bruised rib. I don't know whether it's a rib or if it's one of the muscles. I wasn't really listening to the doctor, to be fair. When he started talking about giving me free drugs, and I just he kind of lost me there, to be fair. But yeah, I've strained something, and every so often I move and it frickin' hurts. I have been pumping painkillers all day, but I didn't want to mong myself out, so I was incapable of doing anything when it comes to broadcast time. You may see that there's been some changes at Black Flag Racing TV in terms of content. There's going to be 2 bits of F1 2023 content coming out. It's a few weeks yet. I'm not going to announce it just yet, but watch this space for Sunday evenings. Something very, very special, very, very high profile. You will have heard of them if you are into sim racing at all. But it will be coming to Sunday evenings, and there's a whole army of us commentators doing that on Sundays. So looking forward to that. And obviously we've got Smoking Perez comes back to Thursday evenings. Everything else, lots of stuff going on with Team Hard, lots of stuff going on with Black Flag. We've got the GT Invitational with Team Hard on Mondays, which is a fantastic little tournament. And my favourite at the moment is the Mini Challenge. It's a Black Flag Mini Challenge. We've tuned up some new minis and 3 15-minute races back to back. And the beauty of it is you finish in the top 3 in the first race, you get an ECU restriction for the next 2 races. And I tell you what, it doesn't matter whether you are an alien A+ driver or you are way down the field and 2 or 3 seconds slower than those guys. Because once those ECU restrictions kick in, it closes the field right up, and that is really close close racing throughout. So look forward to more of that coming back next Tuesday. So here we go. Last chance effort now for most. There's 3 minutes left. If you're not on track already, you really need to start thinking about getting out there, finishing whatever little tweaks you're going to make to your setup, and getting cracking with getting your car out on track and whipping in a lap and seeing what you can do. Rose's still in the pits. He's got to be happy with the 31.0. The gap was half a second. It's down to about just under 4 tenths, or just over 4 tenths of a second between Rose and Wisburn. Comsar still sitting pretty there on row 2, with Samuel Beach dropping Nat Packers down to row 3. Orny Jimmy down to 6th, with Makesir joining him on row... no, he's not joining him at all. He's on the row behind on row 4. Pink Eye and the Red Bull joining him there. Tom go prof. Tom usually go fast, but Tom not go fast. Tom 4 tenths of a second. Well, it's actually... What is it? 4, yeah, it's 4 tenths. No, it's not. Well, I'm lying. It's at 9 tenths of a second slower than Rose. How the hell can I not count? What an idiot. With 31.948. But that top 10 now. That top 10 is separated by just 1 second. That top 11 separated by 1 second. Such small margins here with Smoking Pirellis on a Thursday. Blink and you will frickin' miss it, brethren. You get me, doll. That's not cultural appropriation because I'm from South London. That's how they all talk. Rose is coming out. Everyone now flicking out onto track. There's only a couple of minutes left. You want to get that out lap done and give yourself a little bit of room for your hot laps. You don't want to be tucked right up behind anybody. Yeah, it's useful for slipstream, but if you're quicker, it could absolutely screw with your lap. And you do not want to be coming up behind a car into a corner on a hot lap and being slowed up because they just not got the pace in front of you. And when you're Rose and you're doing 31.0s as qualifying, you want a nice big piece of clear air there in front of you. So everybody going to chuck in their last lap. Wazza sitting in the pits. Got to come out soon. Wazza is coming out. Curry coming out as well. It's going to be a very, very busy racetrack. We can see every car pretty much now on that racetrack on an out lap. So it's going to be congestion central. Is that Cameron Poulter coming in? That's Cameron Poulter coming in. So it looks like Cameron Poulter is not going for another hot lap. So 132.4 for Cameron Poulter. That's qualifying over for him. So 16th is the best he is going to end up. Possibly 17th if Cast can improve. Rose giving it a little jiggle. His money don't fold, he jiggle. Just to get some heat into those tyres. You want to get them nice and sticky and hot. And that helps you get around the corners a little bit faster. Of course it does. There has been some talk about issues with tyre longevity across Equal Performance, which, to be fair, is more of a factor in the sort of high-end esports than it is at this level. I'm not suggesting these guys are slow or crap, but yeah, I think when you're talking about small margins at the top of the game, yeah, it makes a bit of difference. But I think at this level, it's probably manageable. Right, so clock ticks down. If you're not on a lap now, tough titty, my friend. Pink Eye cannot improve. Wazza cannot. Curry cannot. Cameron Poulter cannot. Fate Scouser cannot improve. Everybody else is going for it. That's purple for Rose. Is this going to be that sub 31 I thought was in this track? So it looks that way. The more the track gets rubbered in, of course, the faster it becomes. Through sector 2 he goes, sweeping through majestically in that Mercedes-Benz. Round that turn, takes him towards sector 2 timing line, across that line, and he's still purple. Makes it into the pits. That's going to be the end of their qualifying. And Arnie Jimmy waxing straight away onto the front row. Here comes Rose. Last little blast now. One more DRS zone before we find out if pole position is been improved upon. We know it belongs to him at the moment. Has he improved upon it as he comes down to this big braking zone here? End of the DRS zone, slamming on those brakes, getting the gears changed down, then back on that power as you swoop down towards the final turn here at Shanghai. Round he goes, up to the line. Is it sub 131? Abso-freaking-lutely. 130.7. That is a phenomenal lap from Rose. Ollie Jimmy, good lap from him with a 31.2. That's front row there. Just cast left to set a hot lap. Is it going to be hot enough for pole? Doesn't look like it. No, it's not. So, not a bad start. Rose's still demonstrating incredible pace here. It's nice to come back and see that the same people are still just as quick. With some new people jumping in, of course, and putting in some wickedy times. But Rose with a 130.7, demonstrating just why he has won several of these championships. Congratulations, brother. Where are you? Wrong button, that's the one I want. Pole position, there you go. Pole position for Rose in the Mercedes-Benz. That's not too shabby a time, is it? Can be getting on with that. So, full run down for those of you who weren't paying attention. Rose in the AMG Mercedes Petronas with a 130.7. Ollie Jimmy joins him on the front row in the Alfa Romeo. Comzar and Wisburn are on row 2 in the Haas and the Aston Martin respectively. The two McLarens on row 3 of Tongo Prof and Moikuli. Nat Packers and the Williams makes it in the Ferrari are 8th and 9th. We've got Pink Eye in the Red Bull rounding out that top 10. Fake Scouser in the Aston Martin and Pontine in the Alfa Romeo on row 6. Cordon Andre in the AlphaTauri and Wazza in the Alpine on row 7. Row 8 is Curry, Cameron Poulter and Cast in the AlphaTauri bringing up the rear. But only a couple of seconds separate the entire field in terms of pace. And when you put into perspective that when I race with anybody, I'm 2 seconds behind on my own at my very best. So there we go. That's a pretty darn decent start. Looking forward to this 28 of your great British laps ahead of us in this Chinese Grand Prix. Do you want to know what else is on the calendar? I do. Let me know. Tell me immediately, Mr. Pirate. I will, while we're waiting for this to load. And it does involve me actually having the information right in front of me, which I don't. So we're here in China. We move on next week to Portimao, then off to Australia. Good day, mate. Checking out the shrimp on the barbie. Then just as well, we chuck some shrimps on the barbie because the following week we're in Hungary. See what I did there? Then we're on to Jeddah. Before we head over to US of A, to Las Vegas, baby. Then it's the Red Bull Ring in Austria, followed by the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya in Spain, back to the US of the A in Miami. Qatar follows that, then we're at Bahrain, and then we finish at the single greatest racetrack in the history of sport, although they've named their straight a stupid name, Silverstone, of course, for the closing race of this season. Right, Boomshanker. Formation lap ensues. Let's see if everyone can make it all the way around the formation lap without a crash, shall we? It's not often that happens, but we can live in hope, of course. So what information do we want to see? I want interval, of course I do. And position change will... yeah, let's bring up position change. So, tyres. What's everyone running, Rose, on those medium compounds? Omni on the mediums. We've got softs on Comzar. So, Comzar looking to make a move early on, try and get up into the lead and make those softs work by opening up a bit of a gap. Wisburn on those mediums. Mediums also for Tongo Prof. Samuel Beach opting for the hard compound tyres. Not very grippy, but they last a long time. Moikuli also on the hards. It's mediums for Nat Packers. It's hard compound tyres for Mexia. Pink Eye on the mediums. The fake Scouser. Does that mean he's from London or something? On the hard compound tyres. Pontine also on the hards. Cordon Andre is on the medium compounds. Wazza on the hards. Curry will also be on those hard compound tyres. Cameron Poulter for the mediums. And Cast on the hards. So just the one driver opting to start, it was, yeah, just the one opting to start on the soft, and that's Comzar. So So clearly, Comsar's strategy is to absolutely melt the living shit out of this car from the outset and just try and get past Rose and Omni Jimmy early doors and hopefully build a gap. It is going to be soft, medium, medium if that is their intention. Those starting on the hards give themselves a couple of options. They could take the hards really, really long if they look after them, and then maybe a few safety cars or what have you, be able to just do a one-stop with mediums, or it'll be certainly one-stop with a one-stop with softs, or certainly a one-stop with mediums, worst case scenario. So, what happens next? I hear you cry. We've got 5 lights. They go on. Then when we go out, we go vroom vroom. Oh, shit. Just coughed in a rib. Ow. Dying. I'm all right, folks. That's 2 lights. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. Lights go out. And vroom, 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 we are away. Rose gets a good start. That is a really, really good start from the Aston Martin just behind there as well. So Comsar in second, Wisburn in third. Now we're seeing some of the people dropping down the order. Only Jimmy, despite going for the starting right at the front, is already dropping down that order. That is not what you want to see. Early doors, couple of places lost for Ollie Jimmy. Does gain 1 back into 4th place. But Rose is in first. Comsar already getting those soft tyres working up into second. Are they going to pull a gap? Well, the gap already 1.6 seconds back to Wisburn. You can see that gap already starting to open up. If we look here, you look at that gap behind, you can just see a little bit of a clear air between them. And if these two now can pull away, particularly if Comsar can stay in the slipstream of Rose out in front, this could be a very, very interesting chase down for everybody else. So Wisburn with place gained, only Jimmy losing 2 spots. That's why the Comsar and Wisburn both moving up. Big game for Makes here, gaining 3 places at the start there. Tom Goproff and Samuel Beach both losing out. The 2 McLaren drivers dropping down the order relatively quickly, but they are going for longer stints, I believe. So yeah, they're both on the, I know they're on the mediums. One's on the mediums, one's on the hards. As Pink Eye separates the 2 of them, moving up, pushing Samuel Beach down 1, getting sandwiched between the 2 McLarens, just how he likes it. Sandwiched between Tom Goproff and Samuel Beach. Did I just see someone whipping off that? Who was that disappearing off into the ether? Well, Cameron Poulter into the pits. Nat Packers had an absolute nightmare. It looks like they've gone into pits because they've lost a number of places. So let's have a look who that has actually stopped. Nobody yet. So Nat Packer's not doing so well just yet. 8 places lost for Nat. Cameron Poulter has pit with some damage, and out they come. But no safety car, no yellow flags thus far. Comsar has made that move on Rose. I'll tell you what's missing from F1 2023 that they didn't give me that I wanted is replays. I have got actually a function I'm going to try and sort out. I've got a function on my thingy I can do replays with, but I've just never bothered setting it up because I've always had them available to me on a Gran Turismo. Right, so Comsar does lead the way. Has got those soft tyres working. Exactly what I thought was the plan, is to get past Rose on the medium compound tyres and try and build a gap. The thing is, Rose is a very, very tricky customer, and it's not that simple building a gap over this guy. You've really got to have your wits about you. There is a caution in Sector 3. Who has crashed? That looks to me like one of the Williams. And that will be the Williams of Curry. Is now back up and running, so you don't get the carb of favour, which will be coming out if I do catch anyone crashing on my watch. There is Curry in 16th, Cameron Poulter way back there in 17th at the moment, as DRS is enabled for the first time. This is where Comsar really needs to make a gap now. Does not want Rose that close to the back of the car, particularly with DRS available, because as soon as that rear wing opens, the extra horsepower kicks in, the extra burst of speed along the straights kicks in, and Rose can start to use that to trouble the Haas of Comsar ahead. There is Wisburn, currently sitting in the top 3 in that Aston Martin. It is 2.1 seconds already to those 2 cars ahead. But the beauty of being in this position particularly with a 1.5 second gap back to Arnie Jimmy, is that you can just kind of sit and get on with your race and hope that the two battling ahead of you kind of trip over each other a little bit, slow each other up and cause each other a few problems, and you can kind of swoop in like the knight in shining armour and then wave goodbye as you whip past them up the inside, watching them scatter. But there you go, great shot. It's a great shot there, look at that. Awesome shot. Could have done with some more camera angles as well. EA Sports to the game. So Rose getting that move done, and that was all about DRS there, getting that move done on Comsar and into the braking zone, just being that little bit braver at the end of the straight, and then making that move. So Rose up into the lead of this race. So all changed, but remember, Comsar on those soft compound tyres is going to have just a little bit more. And here we go, you can see that already. A little bit more grip on those soft compound tyres. Move gets made side by side. Such respectful, but no quarter given. Comsar back into the lead of this race. That is phenomenal wheel-to-wheel racing from these two very talented drivers. Comsar in Haas, Rose in that Mercedes-Benz. He's going to have to get the job done all over again. Can he do it again in that DRS zone? Because at the moment, Comsar on those softs is looking pretty darn racing. Cameron Poulter puts in the fastest lap of the race. That's a 1:34.7. Someone setting their stall out early on. They are going for a push approach. Andre, right at the back of the pack, has had some sort of issue. Dropped down 4 positions. And great run that Rose was getting there on Comsar. Can't get the move done here, but a good exit here, and then into the DRS zone, and we can see a very similar overtake at the end of this straight as they swoop round into the DRS zone. They go, and we'll see it right now. Watch this. Rear wing opens. Boom shanker. And straight away, look at the speed differential. Side by side. Gets that move done long before the braking zone. So it's all got to go again. Comsar's got to get the job done again. Can it happen again into turn 1? Are we going to see these two trading places every single lap? Of course, it's only going to last until Comsar, who will pit first on those soft compound tyres, comes in. And not close enough this time to retake the position. Rose gets that job done. And it's just opened up a little gap. Just a little gap over Comsar. Bear in mind, of course, that the longer we go, the harder it is to keep those soft tyres in that optimum zone. Let's have a little look down the order. There's Wisburn. Staying in touching distance, 1.8 seconds from the back of that battle for the lead at the moment. But opening up a nice, solid gap from Sergio Pinkai. They're running in 4th place. I've got to have to try. I'm acutely aware I made up names for all of these guys, right? And now I've got to try and remember what they all are. Some of them are quite good, but I can't remember all of them, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. I suppose I could bring up my list. Obviously I made a list first because I'm not an idiot. I didn't just try and make it up as I went along, did I? Or did I? I don't think I did. So there we go. So Pinkai running in 4th place in that Red Bull. There is Oni Jimmy, or Zoni Guanjimi, as he's known, in the Alfa Romeo. Moikuli, very, very clever Nico Moikuli in the Haas. And it is, this was one of my favourites because it's quite a difficult one to say if you don't get it right. And it's Tomdo Goprofis in the McLaren, along with, of course, his very, very famous teammate Samuel Piastri. It's Charles Lemaitre in the Ferrari, running in 9th place, and it's 1.8 seconds is the gap. There is Wazza, right behind Wazza, making that move. It's Wazza Ocon, makes the move past, makes it back around. Is Wazza going to have another go? Wazza Ocon having another little crack in the Alpine. Doesn't get it done this time though. And of course Charles Lemaitre stays just ahead of its Wazza Ocon. Pontine. Of course, who's Pontine? That's Valtteri Pontine in the Alfa Romeo, who is getting involved in that battle now. It's getting pretty close between these three. And if you look back there, you've only got half a second back to Fake Scouser, who doesn't have his own name because he's a reserve driver, and Cast, who's also a reserve driver and doesn't have their own name either. And so close to the back of it's Wazza. There was Pontine almost getting that job done, Valtteri Pontine, but didn't want to go, obviously don't want to go crashing into the back of the Alpine, particularly at this stage, and leaving carbon fibre all over the racetrack. A good racing from these three cars. Moving down the order, that's Fake Scouser, half a sec, just over 7 tenths back. Cast not too far behind the Aston Martin in that AlphaTauri. And it is Alexander Alpacas in the Williams. 6 places lost for Alexander Alpacas in that Williams racing car. Currently 5.1 seconds behind Cast. But a pretty decent gap over Cameron Poulter, 15 seconds ahead of Cameron Poulter in the other Alpine. Andre, there is Andre in that other AlphaTauri. I can't remember what I called Andre. What I called Andre? Oh, it's Yuki Tsunondre. Yuki Tsunondre in the AlphaTauri. And of course, who could forget Curry Sargent in the other Williams, 19.7 seconds back. In the rear, it's lap 7 of 28. This is Smoking Pirellis Racing Club Thursday evening Tier 1. It's Formula 1 2023, Season 9, round number 1. And technically, it should be Season 1 because it's a new game. But we'll run with it. Why not? And we've got some new drivers out there. We've got some old drivers. And Omni out of the session. And it's a safety car. What happened to Oni? That is not good. Where can we see Oni Jimmy just disappearing as we see Nat Packers coming round? So we have lost him. And what a shame to have lost Oni Jimmy so quickly. Zoni Guanjimi is out of this race. So first casualty, lap 7 brings out the safety car. So they're all going to slot in behind Rose. That'll close up the gap significantly for everybody. Bit of a shame for Comzar because Comzar did such a good job sticking with Rose out there and making a pretty good gap. But straight into the pits on those soft compound tyres. Worked out not too badly for Comzar with that strategy because would have had to come in relatively soon anyway on the softs. A couple of others opting to come in early. Wisburn, Pinkeye, Moikuli, Tom Prof, Samuel Beach makes it. Pontine coming in. Fake Scouser in. Rose, it looks like Rose is the only one staying out. Cast as well staying out. Cast straight up into second position. Cast, I believe, is on the hard compound tyre. So can run that a little bit longer. Rose's on the mediums. This is either a great strategy or an absolute clusterfuck. We will find out at some stage. Comzar comes back out in third. But of course, the two drivers ahead both still need to pit. And we're tucked in nicely behind that very, very beautiful AMG Mercedes. That's the 2020 GT3 AMG Mercedes. It's a beautiful, beautiful race car and great fun to drive. Certainly in a sim, isn't it? Put some of my drink while there's not much to talk about. What we talk about, Alfie. We have also, from this race, lost Wazza. That is a bit of a shame. So 2 drivers gone now. We went 7 laps with no real incidents to speak of. And now we've lost Zoni Guanjimi. And it's Wazza Ocon from this race thus far. Alpine and Alfa Romeo respectively. So it is Rose from Cast, from Comzar. Rose and Cast opting not to pit. I think they're the only 2 actually that didn't pit in that window, and I am indeed correct. Cameron Poulter's actually pit twice now, running in 14th place. Should be able to run a little bit longer now, or at least you'd hope so. Curry running in 15th place has already stopped as well. Who's the big winners and losers? Let's have a little look now at this stage. So at the moment, Cast 15 seconds, 16 places up the road. Rose opted to go into the pits. Now this is going to be a big loss for Rose actually, because all the cars behind got that free pit stop early. They've all come back out, and Rose is going to come out somewhere near the back of the pack, which is not too awesome for him. Now, on to, I think, the hard compound tyre, which is not necessarily a bad thing. He is onto that hard compound tyre. The question is whether, of course, that hard compound tyre has 19 laps in it. Because that's how many laps he's got to make. In fact, is it 19? Yeah, it's 19. So 19 laps it's got to last till the end of this race. Hold on. I lost the ability to speak then. Do those hard tyres have that kind of longevity in them? And if so, can he hold on? Or if they don't, can he hold on? Or is he banking on possibly having another safety car at some stage between now and the end of lap 28? So lap 9, that represents pretty much the 1/3 point of this race. What have we seen thus far? We've seen Oni Jimmy crash out of this race. He's now last place, of course. And then during the safety car, we also lost Itwaza Ocon, who's also now retired from this race. Early doors, we saw the safety car coming in this lap. We saw the very, very quick Rose and Comzar disappear off into the distance. Almost broke back mountain style. And we saw a few changes of the lead between the soft and the medium tyre runner at the time before Rose took control and opened up a 2-second gap. Then the safety car ensues. Everyone dives in. Rose stays out there a little bit longer and has cost him some serious track position. At the moment, Cast is right at the front of the pack with track position, but with a very racy Comzar behind on the mediums, and then Wisburn, Pink Eye, Tom Go Prof, all on hard tyres back there. This is a really good opportunity for Comzar to absolutely chuck one up the inside, make a move on Cast and get cracking. So here we go. Cast becomes the de facto safety car. The safety car into the pits. The AlphaTauri, is it going to be foot down? It is now. Comes almost into the back, so did get caught sleeping a little bit. Excuse me, and that's given Wisburn a really good run down to turn 1. Is this going to be a move on the hards? Brilliant move up the inside from Wisburn. Can they hold it? Is Comzar going to be able to hold on to 3rd? Wisburn makes a double overtake on Cast and Comzar. Pink Eye also making their way through. Comzar dropping down to 4th place to join their teammate. But them and Comzar and Cast still battling it out for 3rd. We are 4 cars almost abreast coming through there. What an absolute stonking start after this safety car. Comzar, Moy Cully, they're running the 2 Haas, 3rd and 4th. Wisburn, what a move in that Red Bull. 2 places gained through turn 1. Pink Eye follows Wisburn through. So Comzar should be in the lead of this race, but it just didn't happen. Didn't happen for them. And Cast now out of this race. Is it a safety car? It's a virtual. It's a VSC. So they're all going to have to drive to a little delta. It's going to back everyone back up again while they clear off the debris. I'm assuming there's going to be a little bit of this on the racetrack. Yes, I've looked on the racetrack and indeed there is some carbo fiber. I'm sorry, Cast, but
You can't park that there, mate.
I don't know where you parked it, but you can't park it there. Anyway, virtual safety car is implemented. We've lost Cast, we've lost Itwaza, and we've lost Johnny Guanjimi from this race thus far. Wisburn with a great restart after the safety car, up into the lead on the hard compound tyre. Pink Eye following them through. Comzar was in a really good position to have taken the lead there, but just got swallowed up. To be fair, got caught kind of napping a little bit. Cast slowed up the field quite a lot into that final corner before getting the foot down, and it kind of caught Comzar out because Comzar had to slam on the anchors to stop going into the back of Cast, which is kind of thrown them off. And then Wisburn in that Aston Martin was able to just get the loud pedal down and get cracking. But we are back underway. Wisburn leads from Pinkine, already pulled out 1.1 second lead over the Red Bull driver. Comes on Moikuli for Haas, running third and fourth. We've got Makes It in fifth position, all very, very tight between these guys at the minute. Look at this. The feather of Makes It has got Pontine, the remaining Alfa Romeo, just tucked in behind in sixth position. Samuel Beach in the McLaren, the lead of the two McLarens, currently running in seventh with the fake scatter and soft compound tyres. Can you make these soft compound tyres work for you? 3 laps in, you've had a couple of laps of safety car and a couple of laps of virtual and a lap of virtual, so not really taking much out of them yet. Making that move up the inside goes the Aston Martin, makes it look relatively simple, gets that job done. Is the switcheroo on? It looks like it might be, because Samuel Beach coming back at fake Scouser and trying to find a way through. Doesn't get it done though. Fake Scouser that extra little bit of grip, and we now have some more DRS, and we won't see it here, but we will see it when we get into sector 3. A little bit too late with the call for DRS, but the way it's looking, Samuel Beach is not going to need DRS, just going to get this job done anyway. There is Tongo Prof making a move on Rose, or at least trying to, because they are battling it out. Tongo Prof has to settle in behind our pole sitter. And you can see the battle ahead. That's Samuel Beach just ahead. Rose at the moment sandwiched between those two McLarens like a lovely bit of juicy ham. And there are some lovely white sliced tiger bread from Asda. Other breads are available, and other shops are also available. But Asda are a bit pickish if you want to send me some bread. Lovely jubbly. We'll share it out with the team, eh? So Rose trying to get onto the back of Samuel Beach, close enough to make a little move. Fake Scouser on those soft compound tyres is just going to have that little bit more traction coming out of the corners, making it much harder to make those overtakes. And let's face it, China is not the easiest track to make overtakes anyway, without some of the juicy DRS. And there is that wing open. Rose going to be able to close a little bit on Samuel Beach. Looks like Samuel Beach ahead is certainly closed on the back of Fake Scouser. Hey, are you calling me a big fake? That was awful. If you are actually a Scouser, I'm incredibly sorry. Please don't throw your gyro at me. Komzar still leads, or now leads the way, should I say. Has got those medium compound tyres up to grip, up to speed, ahead of Wisburn and Pink Eye, who are both running on the hard compound tyres, so obviously giving up a little bit of grip. But what they give up in grip, they are gaining in track longevity. Check me out, big words and shit. And yeah, so Komzar really needs to open up a nice juicy gap now. That is the ideal scenario for Komzar. Here on lap 13 of 28 here at Shanghai. Right, so Komzar leads this race by just half a second over Wisburn of Aston Martin. Pink Eye, and that is of course Sergio Pink Eye, not to be confused with his teammate Max Verstappen, who's not with us today. That was one of my favourite. I can't believe I got that one. What would have been even better is if people had been allocated cars based on how funny their name was when you combine them with the real driver. Caution, yellow flag. What's guaning in sector 3? Can't see anything untoward. Did someone kick up a little bit of dust maybe? It certainly looks all right now. No problems that I can establish. So Komzar still leading the way, but not as comfortable as I think they'd like to be, having the grippier tyres. Makes is just outside that top 3, but only 0.6 of a second behind Pink Eye, who's starting to drop off the back of Wisburn. You can see there that the battle for the lead is still raging on. Wisburn really close actually to the back of Komzar coming through sector 1. This really tricky turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 section. Onto the power goes Makes It, trying to close that gap on the back of Pink Eye. Don't count Pink Eye out. Pink Eye might be on the hard compound tyres, but we know Pink Eye is capable of a hot lap or 3 when they put their mind to it. I wonder what the CPI stands for. Charging particularly interesting. Can't penis interest. Charging for penis interest. There we go. Comes our lead still from Wisbone, does a weather storm and moves ahead, or moves 6/10 of a second ahead. Pink Eye still 1.6 seconds behind. Makes it still looking at the back of that. And what happened there? Oh, Poteen goes horribly wrong for Poteen. Guess what, my friend?
You can't park that there, mate.
Back on track they go though, but that's a big loss, dropping down a shit ton of places. But a great run here. What's going on with Curry? Did Curry get something wrong? Because that was that Cameron Poulter. Cameron Poulter in all kinds of trouble because breezing past Pontine despite the crash. So maybe Cameron Poulter themselves had a little bit of a problem. Back of the pack, that's Andre. Not to be confused with Andre Giant, because this Andre is very small. He's about 16 inches high, and he has 11 fingers on each foot. I'm only joking, my friend. I don't know, that's true. He's never shown me his feet. Cameron Poulter retiring from this race. And you could argue he's retiring because the car's not fast enough, but speeding in the pit lane would suggest it still is pretty darn quick. So we lose another driver from this race, although he's coming back out, strangely. How's he managed to retire and still come back out? Is that a little bug? What's going to happen here? Because it shows Cameron Poulter as a DNF, but we can see clearly that he's back out on track. Very odd. We'll keep an eye on that. So Andre in 13th position, 11.3 seconds behind Curry, who is running in that Williams on medium tyres, 9.5 seconds behind Pontine, who decided to park that Alfa Romeo in a very odd place. 1.7 up the road is Moi Cooley in the Haas on the medium tyres, chasing down 1.8 seconds behind at the moment Alexander Alpaca. And closing the gap actually is Nat on the back of Fake Scouts. All right. That was awful. That was really bad. That was actually worse than my first attempt. Who's on the soft compound tyre? Now, you would have thought, with their soft compound, I mean, they're 7 laps in now, so they're going to start to be a little bit dodge. And we can see there, you can see, actually, it was quite a good shot there. You can see the graining starting to appear on the tyres. You see that on the look on the right hand tyre as we come round, and there is some graining showing up. You see it there? So we've got some graining showing on that tyre. So the tyres are on their way out. So we should see a fake Scouser going in to steal some tyres very soon. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. The two McLaren still running side by side. Tolgo Prof is running in 7th, just behind Samuel Beach, just second behind. They're running in a good unison at the moment, scoring good points side by side there in 6th and 7th. It's all about a team game for those guys. Makes it in the only Fezzer out there today. Is just under a second within that DRS zone of the Pulsar to Rose, who after getting the pit strategy a little bit wrong under safety car and coming in a little bit late, has fought their way back up to 4th place. So some good overtakes for Rose, and into 4th they go. But they are still some way behind the leader. They've got to find 1.9 seconds to that Red Bull in front of them of Pink Eye. That Red Bull of Pink Eye is... And what's happened to Comzar? Oh, it's Comzar in the pits. I thought Comzar crashed. Comzar into the pits. So that pushes Wisburn, Pink Eye, Rose all getting promoted as Comzar into the pits for their final stop of the race. Now, we were questioning whether these hard compound tyres go 19 laps. It's lap 17. Rose's done 8 laps. Wisburn and Pink Eye have done 9, so they're going to need to do 20 laps on those hard compound tyres if they want them to last to the end of this race. If they do last, they could be in a good position. But I'll tell you one thing they will be, is they will be in trouble for grip for the last few laps of this race. Their car's going to be light, which is going to make things worse. Not better, because obviously they haven't got anything pushing the car. They haven't got extra weight pushing the car into the racetrack to try and gain some grip out of old tyres. Samuel Beach and Makes here both on those medium compound tyres. They're going to have to come in pretty soon to get rid of those. for their second stop. Now, Komzar comes out in 10th position. We know the medium tyres will go to the end of the race from this point. Certainly 11 laps is not a big ask. And Komzar about to make the move on Pontine. That's very, very side-by-side racing there into the braking zone. And the Haas gets that job done relatively quickly. Next target is Moikulli, the teammate. And that is 9.5 seconds up the road. Samuel Beach and Tom Prof swapping positions. It looked like there might have been a little bit of a mistake there from Samuel Beach because he is on those medium tyres. But he into the pits. I think he's let his teammate go actually because he knew he was pitting. So good strategy there. Nat Packers is through, of course, on the hards. So in comes Samuel Beach from 6th position, now up to down to 8th. So Wisburn leads the way by just over 1 second from Pink Eye in that Red Bull Racing car. Rose now up to 3rd after that pit stop, and we're kind of relying, or I say we're relying, they're relying on those hard compound tyres doing 19 glorious laps. And I actually made a promise to myself this season I would actually do some research on how long the tyres last this season, and do you know what I did today? I didn't. I didn't do that. I did some other things. And to be fair, I find it hard to drive at a minute with my achy ribs. But there's the first penalty of the race for Andre. We started with 17 runners. First victim was Guan Oni Jimizu, or Jimmy, or whatever it was, I can't remember what it is. Oni Jimmy, who we lost after just a few laps, I think it was lap 7. Then it's Wazza was gone during that safety car period. After the safety car period, we lost Cast. And then a few laps later, we lost Cameron Poulter, who is the only DNF, and the others were crashed out and what have you. It's left us with 13 runners. Of those 13, your pole sitter Rose is currently running in 3rd position on the hard compound tyre, possibly going to the end of this race. I suppose it would make sense that Rose held out on the pit stop during that safety car period if they were confident in doing 19 laps on those hards. Komzar putting in the fastest lap of the race. Komzar's got to be a good outside bet for this. Only driver to start on the soft compound tyres. Did make them work to an extent. Really lucked out with the safety car. Safety car came bang on the pit window for Komzar. So strategy not having to be adapted in any way. Almost as though it was planned. And if it was Moikulli that crashed out, you would have said that was team orders, but not in this instance. It is Komzar running in 7th, closing the gap actually on Moikulli. 4.5 seconds is the gap to Moikulli. That was 9 seconds, so chasing down the teammate pretty quickly. I apologise for the dog going absolutely mental there. I have no idea why my dog went mental. Probably because, I don't know. Must be a cat or something. Pink Eye running in 2nd. Still within that sort of 1 second-ish of Wisburn, but doesn't seem to be able to close up that gap enough to make it count. Now, there is a distinct possibility that these front 5 are running to the end of this race on those tyres. So there will be an element of tyre management over these next few laps. We're on lap 19 of 28. There'll be exactly 9 laps remaining as they cross the line here. Now, it is Wisburn and Pink Eye with 12 laps on those hards. Tom Prof also with 10 laps on the hard compound tyres, 11 for Rose and Nat Packers. But behind we've got Moikulli and Komzar. They're on the mediums. Now, Moikulli is going to have to pit again, 12 laps in. Pontine, 11 laps on those mediums, also going to have to pit again. No way they're making it to the end of this race on those mediums, as will Curry. So Andre will move up a couple of places, certainly, as will Fake Scouser, now then. Samuel, that's the fucking Jimmy Savile. Samuel Beach will also move up as Pontine goes in. Makes will gain a couple of places in that Ferrari. Komzar most certainly will get past their teammate, although with 1.7 seconds, that's how much they've closed down that target already. So looking pretty quick. And I think I can speak pretty confidently if I say that Moikulli is not going to hold his teammate up for too long. considering the pace differential. And Comsar are still in a very good position to win this race. Currently running in 7th, but doesn't have to pit again, and will be chasing down some very, very old hard compound tyres at the end of this race. But of course, it's one thing to catch them, they've got to pass. But really, really close now to the teammate. Just going to pull out with that slipstream, with some help from the DRS. Easily, confidently done. Comsar up into 6th. Next target is just up ahead there. That is the Williams of Nat Packers on the hard compound tyre, and it's 2.2 seconds is that differential if you cross the line to complete lap 21 of 28. So the big chase down begins for Comsar. Comsar desperately chasing down a place in the top 3, possibly the top step of the podium. It's going to be a big job, because there's a lot of overtaking needs to be done between now and the end of lap 28 here at China, Shanghai circuit, of course. This is season 9, round number 1 of the Smoking Pirellis Formula 1 season. It is the first on F1 2023, which, thank you very much, EA, is actually a much better game than previously. Yeah, the previous one was dog shit in comparison to, yeah, absolute dog shit. But there's Comsar on that chase down. We don't want to neglect these guys out front, because there is Wisburn. Wisburn took the lead of this race when Comsar went into the pits. Actually did a really good job early on as well, gaining first place after the virtual safety car, and currently leads, but 13 laps into those hard compound tyres. We're going to start to see some signs of wear on there, and desperately trying to shake that slipstream, because Pink Eye has now closed that gap. Was sort of floating around 1 second. But look at this. It's a 3-way battle here. It's Rose, Pink Eye and Wisburn all battling it out for the lead of this race. I want to get rid of that. Just watch this chase down. That in the lead is Wisburn. That's Rose. We're on board with that at the moment. No one else getting involved. This is your top 3 on the hard compound tyres, racing to the end. And I'll tell you what, if you've got Rose chasing you down with the pace on that boy, bearing in mind he was pole sitter, and he is now on it like a car bonnet. And I would be a little bit worried, because Pink Eye, all Pink Eye can see in his mirror at the moment, I'll show you, that's what Pink Eye sees. It's on rushing Rose. So Pink Eye actually is in the hardest position of the 3, I think. Because when you whiz beat, you're out in front like that, you know you've got no DRS. You know, all you've got to do is keep your car on the apex and hope that you can build a big enough gap using the energy recovery system that those 2 cars behind can't find a way through. But when you're in the position that that Pink Eye's in, you're not only trying to chase down the car in front and close that gap, you're also got to be wary of the car behind. So it's so much more to consider that you can't try something a little bit different, something a little bit risky, chasing down the car ahead, because you've got the fear that the guy behind you is going to capitalise on whatever you do and nick that from you. Does have some DRS, which does help, of course. Not close enough, I don't think, into the braking zone here. But another opportunity with some DRS very soon. Goes very deep, almost losing a place there. But does hold on. So round the bend they go. This is a great shot here on board with these 3 cars. Heading down, across the start-finish line they go. Look how close Rose is to the back of Pink Eye now. Can he get this job done here? He can't. Into turn 1. Having a little look up the inside, thinking better of it. It's not the greatest place to try and overtake. But if you get a good exit out of here, you might get an opportunity on the run down into sector 2. But it looks like the 2 cars ahead both have a really, really good exit and keep this going. So yeah, not bad going from these 3 cars. Really demonstrating some absolutely awesome close quarters racing. Comsar has got past Nat Packers and Tomgo Prof. 8.6 seconds back from that battle. That is the target for Comsar if they want to take those medium tyres and plonk them into the top 3. A lot of work to do at this stage. Tomgo Prof is running in 5th place ahead of Nat Packers. His teammate now down, Samuel Beach down in 9th position. Just making a move there on Fake Scouser. Who's trying to come back actually and doing a good job of coming back. But Samuel Beach with the inside line, holding on. How long can they hold on? All the way is the answer to that particular question. Down in last is Andre, the only driver carrying a penalty, 27 seconds back as well, so that's not encouraging. But with Cameron Poulter cast, it's Wazza and Ollie Jimmy all did not finish. It will still be some points in the bag for Andre there in 13th. There is Curry in the Williams, the second of the two Williams. Not too far behind the Alfa Romeo of Pontine. Just 1.4 seconds. So there is a potential battle going on there with the soft compound tyres towards the end of this race. Pontine's 23 seconds behind Moy Cully, who's looking pretty safe at the moment, 6.4 seconds behind Fake Scouser. There is Fake Scouser desperately clinging onto the back of Samuel Beach and trying to regain that 8th position. Every point matters. I'm keeping a little eye on that battle. Wisburn still leads from Pink Eye from Rose. Caution in sector 2. Who's had a little crash? Can't see who has. It looks to me that they're all still there. Was that anything between those front three? Doesn't look like it, because see just how close they are running. And actually, this is where a back marker comes into play, because it looks to me that they are catching the back of Andre in 13th. And there is Rose looking up the inside to make a move on Pink Eye, but not getting the job done. Has to tuck in. DRS, the flaps open. Now the problem is, of course, he's got DRS, but so has Pink Eye, which is just keeping Pink Eye safely at bay from the on-rushing Rose. They have got now to contend with that car. No, to be fair, Andre moving well off the track, although it's ghosted out. I'm going to be brutally honest, I'm not a fan of the cars ghosting. I think they should stay live, particularly when you're in league racing like this. You have the option. And then it's down to good racing. But there goes Rose. Is he going to attempt round the outside into turn 1? It would take massive balls of steel to have to get that done. But no, doesn't do it. And it is a virtual safety car. So somebody somewhere has crashed. And who is it? Trying to see if we can find what's brought about this virtual safety car. Thank you very much, Jay. I'm assuming, Joe, you are referring to 500 subscribers. I will remember all you little tossers. And I'm joking. No, thanks very much. You've been a big part of that as well, mate. I'm going to cry. Right, so Wisburn leads the way. We've got a virtual safety car here, lap 25 of 28. Now, it's a good thing for Comsar, because you've got Wisburn, Pink Eye, Rose, 16, 17 laps on those hard compound tyres. They haven't got much left to give now, but Comsar behind on those medium compounds is going to be able to use this virtual safety car to just kind of close that gap, or at least try and close that gap on the back of that front three. They're not going to have long, though, to get anything done. So they're going to have to do all the work under the virtual safety car. But Samuel Beach there. Samuel Beach back in 8th, picking up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. And it looks like Fake Scouser has too. And Pink Eye gets the move done on Wisburn, as does Rose. So Wisburn was leading the race, but straight from the virtual safety car. Pink Eye and Rose make the move. These two have been battling it out, but now Rose's going to get DRS on Pink Eye on lap 27, I think, maybe 26. And then it's going to be very difficult for Pink Eye to stop the rot. And there we go. Rose gets the job done up the inside into turn 1. And your pole sitter regains the lead of this race here on lap 26. Pink Eye running now in 2nd. And it's all changed, because it was Wisburn, Pink Eye, Rose. Now it's Rose, Pink Eye, Wisburn. So Pink Eye holds on to 2nd place. Wisburn and Rose swapping places. Whereas Comsar still 5.9 seconds back. Not close enough for me to get this done. But hang in there. You never know. Hang in there. There might be an opportunity. You never know. There might be a crash just yet. Tom Go Prof hanging on for 5th at the moment. 4.6 seconds behind Comsar. That's a big ask to take that gap and close it. Nat Pack is 3.2 behind in 6th, which, considering the start, is actually not a bad run-in here on lap 26. The only feather out there today, it's Charles Lemaitre 6/10 of a second behind Nat Packers. So still potentially a battle there. And on the medium tyres, so Nat's got a bit of work to do for these last couple of laps to hold that on-rushing prancing horse at bay. Samuel Beach in 8th position, 8.5 back, carrying that penalty as well, which is going to cost them a bit of time. Moy Cully on the softs needs to close up that gap a little bit to capitalise on the penalty. Fake Scouser, are you calling me a big tart? No, I'm not. But you are a fake Scouser, and you are 10th in your Aston Martin, 16.1 seconds behind Moy Cully. And it is still Rose, Pink Eye, Wisburn in that top 3. Still Comzar outside that top 3. Curry running in the other Williams, 10.7 seconds behind Fake Scouser on the penultimate lap, of course. Pontine is in the Alfa Romeo, the only remaining one. It was Pontine's teammate, Oni Jimmy, that was our first casualty of the evening and brought about the safety car on lap 7. And there is Andre bringing up the rear and has been lapped many times down already. Right, so there's your race leader, Rose. 6/10 of a second is the current lead. This front 3, though, still battling out. 27 laps, or 26.5 laps gone. And 1.5 lap remain to the end of this race. And Rose was leading at the beginning of lap 1. Will he still be leading at the end of lap 28? Well, this would suggest, with that gap of 1.4 seconds, that actually this charge from behind is off. But Wisburn, not content with 3rd place. Is he going to relegate Pink Eye to 3rd? Up 1 step onto the 2nd step of the podium goes Wisburn. But now he's just got to hold off a little bit deep in, and Pink Eye able to come back. But Wisburn holding on to that inside line as they head round to complete lap 27, the final lap of the race. This battle is not over. Pink Eye, side by side, makes the move up into 2nd, regains 2nd place. Wisburn dropping down to 3rd. Into turn 1 they go. We see the car slow. That car ahead, that's Rose. Rose will be loving seeing this battle in his mirrors. He knows while they're fighting each other, they're not closing on him. Comzar not able to capitalise, 5.1 seconds back. He's put some pressure through that tyres, though. Those medium tyres now going to be ropey as hell. Samuel Beach into the pits on the final lap. Is that a big tyre issue, or is there something more sinister going on there for Samuel Beach? I think that's to serve the penalty, actually. So here we go, Wisburn. It's going to be a last opportunity. Last DRS zone coming up very soon. And already closing on the back of that Red Bull. Those tyres are going to be screaming on the Red Bull and screaming on the Aston Martin as they swoop round this left-hander. Head down. They finish sector 2. They've got one big left-hander to come before the track swoops back on itself all the way around to the right. And then the longest straight on the circuit into the DRS zone they will go. And this will be, I think, Wisburn's last opportunity. Of course, you've got to get it right at the end of the straight. Not close enough. Harvesting. Is Pink Eye ahead. Here comes Wisburn making the move. Has to go to the outside. Pink Eye defending that inside line. Switcheroo is on. Can it happen? He does make the switcheroo. Pink Eye still holding on. Wisburn doesn't look like he's going to get it done. One last opportunity. Last corner. Closing on the back of that Oracle Red Bull. Rose wins this race. Pink Eye comes 2nd. Wisburn so close behind. So close, but comes in 3rd position. Comzar couldn't catch them up in the end. Good job from them, though. Back in 4th place. Makes comes home in 6th. Tomgo Prof in... makes it in 5th. Tomgo Prof in 6th. Nat Packers comes home in 7th. 8th was Moy Cully. Samuel Beach 9th. Et al. But there is your race winner. Absolutely fantastic performance from Rose. Was a pole sitter. Started out as winner and started out as leading, should I say, and has won this race quite convincingly in the end from Pink Eye and Wisburn. Well, what a battle in that top 3 between Wisburn and Pink Eye right through those last couple of laps. Genuinely, at any stage of the last 2 laps, lap 27, 28, it could have been either one of those two. But Pink Eye just a little bit wily, a little bit smart, did the right thing, taking the inside line in that penultimate corner. So it forced Wisburn to try and go for the switcheroo. Pink Eye harvested all the way down that straight to make sure they had just enough ERS to help them pull away from those last two corners. There we go. There is your race winner. That is Rose, demonstrating why he is a multiple champion at this level. And yeah, what a drive. And I thoroughly agree with that. Driver of the day, absolutely deserved by Pink Eye. That was a phenomenal finish to hold on for second. So there we have it. Done and dusted. Race number 1 of this 12 race season. It's going to be something phenomenal. And there is the Jamaican driver, Rose, on the top step of the podium, alongside the Red Bull and the Aston Martin driver. Wow. What a start to the season in F1 2023 for Smoking Pirellis. We've seen some great close racing, and good to go that many laps, almost to a third distance before we even saw yellow flag, let alone a safety car or anything. Phenomenal finish from everybody. But yeah, no, that was, I think, hard work from everyone. Let's face it, China's not an easy track at the best of times, but when it's your opening race of the season, definitely even harder. So your full classified rundown looks a little bit like this. Rose takes the win from pole position. That's a really good finish for the Jamaican driver for Mercedes-AMG. Pink Eye for Red Bull from Great Britain comes home in second. Wisburn from the World and Comsar, also from the World, and the Aston Martin and the Haas respectively, third and fourth. Makes it in the Ferrari, comes home in fifth. Tom Prof, the Dutchman, in the McLaren, home in sixth. Nat Packers, not from the United States, from Great Britain, in Williams Racing Car. Mui Cully in the Haas comes home in eighth. Ninth was Samuel Beach, and Fake Scouser in the Aston Martin rounds out the top 10, followed by Curry, Pontine and Andre, 11th, 12th and 13th. We lost Cameron Pole to Cast, It's Wazza and Oni Jimmy were all did not finish. He got it done in the 30 seconds. That's why they pay him the big bucks, or not at all, apparently. Awesome. Job done. What a finish to the first race. Very, very pleased with that shizzle. So next week we move on for more of the same, and we're at Portimao in Portugal for race number 2 of season 9. Thank you very much for joining me. If you are looking for some really cool racing over the next week or so, we've got a rerun of our mini challenge on Saturday, which will be broadcast live here on Black Flag Racing TV. You can check it out here actually. There we go. This is the video of the challenge. There we go. That's the mini challenge. That'll be on rerun on Saturday, but it's live every Tuesday evening on Black Flag Racing TV. All that's left to say is thank you very much for joining me this evening. I've been Adam Pryor. This has been Black Flag Racing TV, and thank you to everybody that's got us to 500 subscribers.